Well, hello there and good afternoon, I'm Ursa Ryan and welcome to semi-final heat number 2, or as I like to call it, the Works of Blue, because, well, pretty much every single blue contender in the game so far has been put into this heat, just for fun. First up, China, all-rounder, wonder builder, handsome man with a big old beard. China can do anything you want to do. A Manatore of Nubia, who, generally speaking, they build quite well. They've got the pyramids, which massively increase production. They've got ranged unit abilities. Nubia are pretty damn good consistently across the board. Chandragupta of India. India tend to do quite well full stop. The stepwells and the population adjacency and the Varu, everything that India does very well, but increase that with Chandragupta's ability just to go absolutely crazy fast and declare war on people. So, generally speaking, these guys are aggressive and tend to do well. Possibly my surprise pick of most surprising. Does that work? A surprise pick of most surprising? Christ knows, I'm losing my mind. Catherine de' Medici of France, her wonder building grand tour, where actually her grand tour was less about wonder building and more about throwing out masses of Imperial Guard and killing people, which we're not going to complain about. Cyrus of Persia, yet another, I can't be asked to declare war properly, so I'm just going to do surprise war and all my troops are going to get loads of movement and all sort of thing. I mean, Persia's pretty damn good, pretty strong. I can't call this one, actually. I think it's just because a couple of the people in these heats were surprise victors anyway. I mean, Cyrus? I always think Persia are going to do well, and actually Chandragupta, but China and Nubia are such strong builders in the game, and France, such a wild card. They did so well in the heats, but I just can't call this one. So let me know in the comments, who would you have guessed before we started the semi-final? Remember, now, the rules, I forgot to mention the rules at the beginning of the last semi-final. As we've done previously, we're going up to turn 200, thereabouts. Otherwise, we've got the same tiny 10 city-states, domination only, no barbarian, all the same rules as ever. The winner of the semi-final will go through automatically, and there are 2 wildcard picks across the 3 semi-finals. We won't decide who goes through until all 3 semi-finals have been completed, although I do have a fairly strong idea who one of them is going to be so far, so we'll see if this semi-final comes up with anything more. But let's just dive in. Right to the top for Norway this time. Oh, and they, in typical AI style, completely ignore the river and go straight for the coast. Because that's just what always seems to happen. City-state corner in the bottom left of the map. Nubia. Actually, decent amounts of space for them, as does Persia, and also does India, and also does France, and also does China. You know what? This is about as even a split in terms of space as I've seen in any of the semi-finals or heats so far. Everyone has got a decent amount of space, actually. And look, all 5 immediately settling their second cities. Oh my god, are we going to have a semi-final here where the computer actually plays sensibly? Please tell me that's what's going to happen, please. Oh, who's going to settle here first? Who's going to settle here first? And is Nubia going to get screwed over by Persia settle? Oh no, they're backing away from each other. Oh, it's tense. No, it's Nubia. Nubia have settled first, but right in the middle of the plains and right next to Persia, who are really good at surprise wars. So, that might not they don't even have the loyalty to keep it. Oh, I can't help but feel that was a bad move. And look, India forward settling France quite a bit, but enough. All these wheat tiles across. China also forward settling France. France, don't take this, Catherine. Don't take it. You can be better than this. Rise above it and kill them all. I am amazed that Persia haven't declared war on Nubia. Nubia don't even have any army on this little city. They could have easily warrior rushed that and taken it over. That's strange. In fact, Nubia is busy attacking Kumasi. Of all places, they're just going straight for the city-state. Why would you do that when you've got a player there? It's just a mixture of priorities, this, isn't it? Is Persia going to go after Chandragupta? No, Persia they can't decide where to move that settler. Sometimes it's the presence of enemy troops that causes them to back away a little bit, but it's a really indecisive settler, this one. Are they going to stick it right there in the middle? If they do that, that's going to be ridiculous. No, they're coming back. They don't know what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. They have no idea. Persia, the frickin' indecisive. China already up to 4 cities, so while everybody else is messing around, China's just casually getting to work and doing their thing. Builders putting lots of farms down, everything is nicely improved. You know what, China, I don't mind this little start actually. If they can take down Brunei and maybe a couple of these little city-states and start putting the pressure on France, they've got themselves nicely in a little bit of a corner here, China. They can kind of keep their backs to the wall and push out a little bit. I'm interested to see if that works for them. You know who I've forgotten, who's also blue? America and Mapuche. What am I talking about? We don't have every blue person on this. Could you imagine there were heat between Persia, Norway, America, Chandragupta, Mapuche? Oh my god, it would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? I mean, do you remember that heat we had, what was it, Russia and Congo right next to each other? God, that was bloody confusing. Meanwhile, in Persia Settler Watch, they still haven't settled. And every other team has either 3 or 4 cities down, so Persia are at risk of being dropped behind here. They've got to either attack somebody or, like, actually settle. And I'm not entirely sure they have a plan here. Also, wouldn't it be sweet if the computer actually settled little islands out here? I mean, it's such a lovely one. Ooh, Nubia declares war on Persia. Now that's an interesting one. Namely because Persia don't get their movement bonus if you declare war on them. Now, they must think that their special archers are more than capable of taking down warriors, and generally that is the case. You know, you need swordsmen to take these things out, but I think Nubia are going to regret that. They very much had Persia wedged in a corner here, and they've got a huge amount of army that's going to come straight towards Nuri like a shark out of hell, which is a total saying. What are you talking about? Of course it's a saying. Meanwhile, in most stupid settle of the map so far, well done France, you're going to lose that in about 4 turns. Oh, and look, just for good measure, China's going to declare war on you as well. Hooray! Chandragupta are also quietly just getting on with it, really. I think they're going to start attacking Nan Nadol. They've already taken Armagh. So this middle of the map, you know, Chandragupta has a lot of space and settlers that are still popping out. If they can get these Varu out and start charging towards the enemy with herds of elephant, which, you know, any game plan that involves charging herds of elephant at someone is a good idea in my book, but yeah, they might be onto something here. Meanwhile, in the Persia-Nubia battle, everyone is dying and nothing else is happening. Like, literally, it's just a stalemate between warriors and archers. Persia are just doing nothing but producing warriors, so Nubia can't deal with it. The archers are a little bit better, but they're busy to do other stuff. Yeah, it's a bit of a stalemate, this one. This war, on the other hand, is a little bit more interesting. France's city, Rugen, has actually taken a lot of damage from China here, but the problem is that China can't really get a base because this French archer wall, there's about 5 archer units here, all firing at the Chinese. 6 now. That's tough. Oh no, China have decided to start retreating. That's a bad move, especially because they've left a warrior next to the city, and there's a lot of archers down here for China. If these guys all step up and start attacking, which, look, they are doing, I was going to say that might be a good opportunity for the warrior to take the city, but they didn't quite push as much as they could have done there. Yep, wasn't that a surprise? Nantes has fallen. China are going to be just like, yep, thanks France for another city. Really handy. And also thanks for this city as well. I mean, rebellion in 3 turns, I get the feeling that once the loyalty settles down a little bit, China will be able to keep that. I mean, if they can't keep it, that would be ridiculous because it's right next to 3 of their cities as well as it is next to France's cities. So, Kumasi falls, Hong Kong falls, so Nubia in the space of about a turn takes 2 city-states. That puts them on 7 cities, actually. That's a lot of cities. That's a huge amount of cities. And Nuri being ambushed. Actually, you know what? Persia are pushing these archers back a little bit. They've actually managed to get a proper under siege on the city going, although I think it's just a wayward heavy chariot doing that right now. But yeah, come on Persia. Why is this settler not settled yet? Just put it down anywhere at this point. Well, that is surprising. China couldn't hold on to the city. Now that's really stupid because they've got so many cities near. Clearly they didn't put a governor across, or they haven't got the right policies or whatever. The computer just seems to be really bad with loyalty. No, I'm just so used to the deity AI just being able to just ignore most rules. Remember in Civ 5, where it didn't matter how unhappy an enemy civ got if they went AI, they just ignored happiness penalties. Like, it feels a little bit like that with loyalty, but complete other direction. Look, the computer just doesn't seem to be able to do anything about loyalty. So they take a city and it just immediately starts to fall. Also, France are very cheekily going to try and steal Brussels here. I can just feel it. China makes peace with France, which this war has been harsh on France. Left them with 2 cities here. Brunei has fallen away from China. That's bad, although they did claim this city again. So China, they're doing all right. They've got a decent couple of cities. They've got 6 cities, but they need to make sure they consolidate and actually keep these 2 cities here, because otherwise this war with France was very much for nothing. Nubia continuing to put the squeeze on Persia, even though Persia is now starting to kick out catapults and immortals just for greater effect. These immortals are tough, really tough, and their combat strength is enough just to push through those archers there. So, I mean, but he's saying that, look, this city is now completely surrounded. Can Nubia wipe Persia out? I'll be amazed if they can do it, but it's possible. Sometimes you look at a city and you just think, like, how would you be happy? Rouen is now flipped back to France and it's already about to rebel in 2 turns, even though Paris, an 11 population city, is 4 tiles away from it. Like, what? What more do they need to do? Oh, also, Brunei was taken by France. So, Brunei, France actually pushed back to 2 cities, is now on 4 again. So, they're not back in it yet, but that does help. But no, they had just lost their city. Ignore me. Oh, I love to see the pyramid built in China. It's such a fun combination. You start doing that, and then the social policy card that gives you +2 charges on builders. So, and then also you put the governor in a city, so China can start producing builders with 8 charges, I think. It's so good. You just make 1 of those in every city, and my god, it's good. Also, China and France are back at it again, but yeah, I don't know if that's going to go anywhere. Oh yeah, France took Brussels. Brilliant. Persia is in trouble. Like, decent amount of trouble. Tarsus has been lost, which means, yeah, Nubia, if they keep pushing down south with their crossbows, which are way more powerful than immortals. And India. Oh, and India. So India has now declared war on Persia as well. Oh dear. This is a bad run for Persia, actually. I'm surprised that they've been just pushed under the carpet this quickly. Persia and Nubia making peace, so the war is now between India and Persia, but Nubia really won out of that. They forward settled Persia, held the city, and has then taken one of Persia's 2 cities. So, although the capital is by far the best city that Persia had, I mean, with that extended border along here, do you see, so from Tarsus to Nuri, they can easily just build up some army, like some strong cavalry units, back them up with crossbows and just declare war again and easily just sweep through. If they know what they're doing, of course. Oh no, Nubia declares war on Norway. No, leave Norway out of this, Nubia. I mean, a smart move from Nubia. They are clearly the weakest people, and there's 3 decent cities that would give them most of this side of the map. They give a lot of space to Nubia, but oh, it's never nice seeing knights charge into Auckland. It's just unfair. Think of Harold, Nubia. Think of Harold. He just wants to join in. He wants to be part of the gang. No, 2 knights are taking down the city just by themselves. Oh, poor Norway. And even just to rub it in, Auckland is just liberated. In fact, that's cool though. That does mean that yet again Norway did manage to sack a city-state. That's incredible. Oh, yeah. No, just you see these boats, Norway? Just literally sail them to sea. Go settle this island, and no one will ever bother you again. Just disappear out to sea, Norway. Hooray! Look, Persia actually managed to settle its 2 cities. Isn't that great? Also, they're having more luck in Calcutta than I kind of expected them to. Rightly or wrongly, they've actually managed quite decently to push back India here. Although these Varro units are really annoying. That -5 combat strength will really just starts winding you up eventually. And look at here, India as well, losing cities to loyalty, which is just going to play straight into France's hand. That's more cities for France. Rouen was taken by China, but has been lost again. Brunei. Now, this is weird. Why can France not keep hold of Rouen, but they can keep hold of Brunei? Why is that a thing? Someone, please tell me, the loyalty system sometimes just makes no sense. Well, that escalated quickly. Nubia they've utterly wiped out Norway. Which puts Nubia very much in first place right now. We've got, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think 12 cities for Nubia. Yeah, 12 cities. China and France making peace. China, you're not going to be able to hold this city. For whatever reason, Ruin nobody can hold Ruin. It's literally its own entity, its own being right now. It doesn't care. China, India. I mean, China, you had a settler right outside India's city when you did... why would you do that? Actually, Nubia declares war on India as well. So we've got ourselves a situation here where China and Nubia both starting to squish India from the middle. Now, I don't think there's going to be too much in the way of problems for them here. I mean, China is a bit too far away, and Nubia's probably the biggest threat. Those knights are powerful, but I feel like India's Varu are a good sort of counter to that. They're very strong units, and their intimidating presence is quite a handy one. But I tell you what, if Nubia keeps liberating city-states like this, they're going to get themselves very powerful very quickly, because those bonuses add up. So I think at the moment, India is at war with every major power around them, except for France. And France have crossbow and catapults on the border, so you feel like that's not going to be too long until they declare war as well. So here we go. France take back this city. Now, Brunei, absolutely fine in terms of loyalty. Brussels, absolutely fine in terms of loyalty. This city is between 3 French cities with a grand total population of about 31. And it's still going to rebel in 5 turns. Like, why? Why would you do that? Is it because these tiles are pillaged and they're not being fixed? Is that a thing? I don't even know if that is a thing.